Stop believing the silent, heavy lie that your deepest prayers have fallen into an empty void. Deep within your weary soul, the profound silence between your desperate prayers and their answers has felt like an agonizing rejection. When you knelt in a quiet room and poured out everything you were holding, only to stand up and walk back into the same heavy day you were trying to escape from. You silently wondered if the ceiling was made of iron. You knocked on doors that remained completely shut, and you held on when every honest part of you whispered that holding on was the hardest and most unreasonable choice available. The heavy question began to form in the quiet hours, persistently asking if the Almighty is still working, if your prayers landed anywhere, or if you are somehow outside the circle of those who receive divine answers. But I am speaking directly into your profound exhaustion today to absolutely shatter that illusion. The Creator of the universe wants you to deeply understand that every single delay in your life has been a majestic, deliberate act of love. It was never neglect, never a divine oversight, and absolutely not a punishment for something you failed to do. That word deliberate carries the massive weight of a perfect, unshakable truth. Nothing in your waiting was accidental, and nothing in your agonizing process was random. Every single moment that felt like an unanswered prayer and an empty silence has actually been a moment of precise, intentional divine construction. The Almighty was actively building something magnificent inside you that could only be built in that particular kind of quiet, that specific kind of heavy pressure, and that exact kind of dark night. You must completely understand that the trial you are finishing is not your enemy, and it was absolutely never designed to destroy you. It was brilliantly designed to shape you into the exact person who could sustainably carry what heaven is preparing to place securely into your hands. Those two profound things, the massive blessing being prepared and the character of the person being prepared, have to be matched to each other with a divine precision that requires time. This heavy season is not a mistake. It is a sacred, majestic preparation. I need you to let this eternal truth settle deep into the places where doubt has been making its home and where fear has been sending its daily correspondence. Your scars are not your story. They are your magnificent proof. They are the undeniable proof that you survived what came against you, and proof that the things that arrived in your life with the intention of ending you did not succeed. Through every night that felt completely endless, and through every heavy moment when the ground beneath you seemed to shift, the Creator was intimately with you, holding what you thought was slipping through your fingers and keeping alive what you thought had died. He has watched you carry a weight that was never meant to be permanent, and He has seen the specific texture of your particular experience, sitting with you right there, so close that the weight you were carrying was simultaneously resting in His majestic hands. You were completely not alone in those crushing nights when sleep would not come, when the distance to your destination felt vast, and when your mind ran exhausting calculations on scenarios that had not even happened. The Almighty was actually present alongside you, and He is about to reveal the breathtaking purpose behind every tear you shed in the dark. Before we move deeper into the magnificent architecture of what is waiting on the other side of this season, I need you to completely release the heavy exhaustion of your waiting. I want you to open your mouth right where you are listening to this heavy prophetic broadcast and make this bold, audible declaration of faith to permanently anchor your soul. Say this out loud with absolute, unyielding authority. My waiting is not wasted, and my future is perfectly prepared. When you vocalize that profound submission, You are firmly dismantling the fragile illusions of abandonment, permanently proving to the spiritual realm that your mind is deeply resting in the continuous, majestic preparation of the living God, asterisk. You have quietly listened to a heavy voice arriving in the quiet places, falsely reciting the reasons your situation is different, and whispering that the divine promise lands only on others who never made your mistakes. I need you to hear clearly that this voice of comparison is absolutely not from the Creator. The Almighty is the God of the individual, the perfect Father who knows every single detail of what you carry, and His love is never diluted by the existence of others. When He turns toward you, He is fully turned, and when He responds to the exact, specific shape of your exact need. The answer you have been waiting for is majestically coming, and it will arrive at the precise moment when receiving it will beautifully change everything. He is absolutely not bringing a generic provision off a shelf, but a specific, calibrated response to the unique inventory of your actual life. There's a magnificent room in His house that was prepared specifically for you, before the world was formed, and your name is permanently on that door. No failure, no season of doubt, and no heavy wandering has ever removed your name from that sacred place. You are family, made family not by your flawless behavior, but by His unshakable decision. And a father makes himself most present at exactly the points where his child feels most alone. You have been taught by rigid religion that you must approach God perfectly to receive His grace. But the profound truth is a relationship with a Father who runs toward you. Before you have even rehearsed your case, He makes Himself most present at the exact points where you feel most isolated, moving into the center of your hardest moments with a love that simply does not know how to leave. I know there are profound prayers you prayed once and quietly stopped repeating because the heavy silence made it seem like the answer was no, and naming those desires became too painful. But those retired prayers did not expire when you stopped sending them. They are alive in the sacred space between you and heaven, doing exactly what a planted seed is designed to do in the dark. The darkness is absolutely not the end of the seed's story. It is the necessary gestation where the first green shoot forms. Some of what you stopped asking for was not a permanent rejection, but a majestic not yet, because the timing is still being perfectly arranged for maximum effect. The doors that have been closed for a long time are about to beautifully open, because the preparation on both sides has finally reached a point of divine readiness. Your patience has a glorious graduation day, and yours is rapidly approaching. I want to speak directly to the physical and emotional toll this season has taken on your body, the tension living in your shoulders, and the weary spirit that has been working so hard to hold everything together. The Creator formed your body with His majestic hands, and He knows exactly where you are carrying pain and where anxiety has left its heavy marks. He is moving a profound, comprehensive healing through you right now, reaching not only your physical body, but entering the deep patterns of thought that were shaped by hardship. He is completely rewriting the false conclusions you formed in your darkest moments, replacing them with a truth that is vastly larger, more hopeful, and more accurate than what fear told you in the dark. You must understand that you are not disqualified because of your wrong turns or seasons of wilderness. You have been profoundly developed. The very things that looked like disqualifiers were actually the raw materials He was working with to build the magnificent architecture of your flourishing. People who looked at your season and labeled you too broken or too late were reading from the outside, and their words hold absolutely no authority over your majestic future. Before we transition into the final protocol of embracing this unshakable peace and understanding the deep roots you have grown, I need you to completely dissolve the heavy agreements you have made with disappointment. I want you to open your mouth right where you are listening to this profound prophetic message and make this bold, audible declaration of faith to permanently silence the shadows of doubt. Say this out loud with absolute, unyielding authority. My retired prayers are alive, and my majestic healing is here. When you vocalize that profound submission, you are firmly walking away from the fragile illusions of delay, permanently proving to the spiritual realm that your soul is beautifully anchored in the perfect, intentional timing of the living God. There is a profound peace available to you right now that absolutely does not require your circumstances to change before it arrives. We have been falsely trained to believe that peace only follows the storm, but the majestic peace of the Creator exists securely in the middle of the storm, because He has never once lost to any storm. You do not have to exhaust yourself to earn access to this stillness. You simply need to open your heart to the reality that He is completely present. He is in control, and He is not going anywhere. I need you to firmly hold on to this magnificent truth. The heavy trial you have been walking through is absolutely not an infinite corridor. It has a far end, and that beautiful end is a place of absolute clarity, divine provision, restored relationships, a healed body, and a quiet mind. The Almighty does not begin things He does not intend to beautifully finish. When He laid His hand on your life, He was committing to the entire story, guaranteeing that no darkness would ever outlast His majestic presence, and no wound would have the final word over your destiny. The best chapters are beautifully unfolding in front of you, where the things you waited for will miraculously arrive, and you will finally understand what the difficult journey was building. Toward. Every tear you have shed is being miraculously converted into a profound wisdom that will safely guide others and outlast your own lifetime. Your pain became your majestic formation. Your formation becomes your beautiful offering, and your living testimony will reach people in seasons you cannot yet see. While you wait for this final manifestation, you must understand that waiting well simply means taking the next small step and gently tending to your spirit as someone who has a magnificent future worth taking care of. Imagine a beautiful tree planted beside a constant, deep source of living water. When the dry season comes, it is absolutely not in crisis, because its roots have gone deep enough that the surface weather cannot interrupt its supply. This heavy season has been the majestic process of your roots driving down toward an eternal source that cannot be dried up, ensuring you will emerge with an unshakable foundation. Therefore, you must completely let go of the exhausting effort to control the heavy current of your life. Stop fighting the river and start beautifully moving with it, trusting that the divine current is taking you toward profoundly good things, and it absolutely never reverses. The sharp bends in the river that looked like retreat were simply necessary, perfect curves in His divine navigation. You must actively remove the heavy ceiling that fear has built inside your daily expectations. Fear has falsely told you that the worst is probable, trying to keep you at the perimeter of your own life to avoid the pain of disappointment. But His majestic provision is not limited to what precedent says is achievable, and what He is capable of doing is vastly larger than what fear can ever model. You are bending under pressure the exact way a living tree bends in a storm, not because you are weak, but because you are alive, beautifully flexible, and rooted in something the heavy wind cannot ever reach. I need you to profoundly believe at the deepest level of your soul that you are absolutely not a burden to the Creator. The weight of your needs does not press too heavily on Him, and the repetitiveness of your struggles does not exhaust His willingness to be present. His love for you is not a fragile reward for your best behavior. It is a permanent, unconditional reality that does not withdraw when you are tired or confused. He intimately knows the actual interior of your life. He sees the exhaustion behind every day you chose to keep going, and He eternally declares that you are incredibly worth pursuing. You are going to be vastly more than okay. You are going to arrive at a majestic place where you are deeply, genuinely, and durably at peace. You have never been alone for a single step, and what comes next is beautifully worth everything this heavy season cost you. Before this profound prophetic broadcast completely concludes, I need you to permanently seal this massive revelation into your internal spiritual architecture. I want you to open your mouth right where you are listening to this heavy message and make this final, bold, audible declaration of faith to completely dissolve the shadows of anxiety forever. Say this out loud with absolute, unyielding, and supreme authority. I am firmly rooted, and I confidently step into my majestic harvest. When you vocalize that sacred submission, you are firmly closing the heavy door on the illusions of fear, permanently proving to the spiritual realm that you are walking forward as a deeply loved, heavily anchored, and perfectly prepared heir of the living God. Asterisk. If this magnificent message touched your heart today, immediately share it with someone who is searching for the courage to believe again and desperately needs to hear these words. Type Amen in the comments right now to permanently receive this blessing, because your simple public act of faith could be the exact thing that keeps someone else holding on. Leave your specific prayer requests down below, because you are absolutely not alone in your waiting season, and our spiritual community stands powerfully with you. If you are ready to go even deeper with what heaven is speaking over your life, there is a powerful devotional created specifically for you waiting at the link in the description. It carries extended prayers, majestic declarations, and profound reflections designed to help you build the unshakable practice of receiving everything the Creator has prepared for you. You completely deserve to walk in the absolute fullness of your divine harvest. Take the next step. Subscribe to this channel to stay anchored in His truth and step confidently into the magnificent future He has built for you. Asterisk.